Hey, what's up guys, it's Darko here, and today I'm going to be going over my game proficiency settings. I constantly get questions while I'm streaming or on TikTok or on just basic YouTube videos on, yo Darko, how do you get your game to look like that? Or why is it so clear? Why is it so colorful? And today I'm basically just going to show you guys what my graphics are, my game settings, and game filters are. So if you stay tuned to the end, you'll find out everything that you need to know. First, we're going to start off with my keyboard and mouse settings. So for my mouse, it's alright. So basically, guys, we're going to start off with my keyboard and mouse settings. For my mouse sensitivity, I have that set to 8.0 in game, and then my DPI is 800. Um, all of this is just default. I have not touched any of this. This is all default relative. All this is default. This might not be default, but this is what I have it set to 1.78 for my monitor distance coefficient. Then obviously no invert mouse look, have that disabled. Mouse acceleration, have that turned all the way down. Same with mouse filtering, and you do not need smoothing at all. For my movement, we have my slide behavior is tap. So this is basically with your slide cancels, or if you're just crouching, you just tap. You don't have to hold down. And for me, or for most people that try to have movement, this is the best setting. This and automatic tac sprint. All of this is default, but automatic tac sprint and tap is a must if you want to have really good movement. This is for rebirth. I don't really do much rebirth, but I just have the set to enabled. Hold to use is disabled. Normal WASD for your front, backwards, left, right movement. Use, I have that set to E, which is not default. I'm pretty sure default is F. My prone is set to Q. It's normally control, but I just have it set to Q. This is preference. It just feels better for me. Go down. I have my gestures and spray set to Y. Everything else is just default. For my weapons and equipment, depleted ammo weapon switch is enabled. This is basically means whenever you run out of ammo, like completely or bone dry, it'll switch over to whatever your secondary is. So like say you have a knife or different gun or whatever, it'll just instantly switch over. This is very important, also a preference. This is switch weapon minimum delay. So on keyboard and mouse, you have your scroll wheel or whatever you swap your weapons with. The lower this is, the faster you swap weapons. So say you want to YY super fast, set it all the way down to 0, but I just have it set to 30 just because it feels really comfortable for me. I don't like it being too fast. It just looks obnoxious. All this is set to default. I don't touch any of this. Obviously, left click to fire, right click the ADS. Reload, that's basic. Okay, so this is basically what I have my YY set as. So I have it scroll down as previous weapon, as you see here, and then switch to first weapon to scroll up. So whenever I YY, I don't YY with 1 and 2. I just, scroll up and down with my scroll wheel. All of this is just nothing set to that. My weapon mount's 5. I don't ever use it, but I just have it set to that. For mouse button 5. Alternate fire, I have that unbound. Melee, I have this set to T. I honestly might switch these two. Yeah, I'm gonna switch those two. Lethal equipment, I normally just use my middle mouse button, but it's normally default to 3. But I just normally just use my middle mouse button. All this is all default. If you go over to kill streaks and vehicles, the only thing that really matters here is my kill streak 1, 2, 3. I don't use kill streaks, but that's what I have it set to. I have my use armor plates as V. So that's if you're playing Rebirth. I just have it set to V because it just feels comfortable for me. Yeah, none of this really matters. I don't touch any of this, so none of this really matters. This is just vehicle settings whenever you're playing Rebirth or campaign or whatever. This also doesn't really matter. I just have my ping set to caps lock, so whenever you want to ping an enemy on Rebirth, you just use caps lock. Show map is M. I mean, this is all basic. Push to talk, I have mouse button 4. But other than that, everything else is default. And all this is default. I haven't touched any of this. So Now, guys, we're gonna go over to my general settings. Obviously my input is gonna be keyboard and mouse. I do play controller every now and then, but I prefer keyboard and mouse because it just feels the best for me. It's the most fun in my opinion. My FOV that is set to 120. Normal, for console is 80. As you see, you have like a little scale here. 120, like you see this much. Like if you were in 80 FOV, you'd see this much. Like if you were in this first person. My brightness is set to 55. A lot of people change this around. I just have it set to 100. Once again, this is another preference type thing. Most of these are all preference. This is also very important if you want your game to look like mine. I run Tritanopia colorblind type, and then my target is both. So for world, it is just basically like in game, like it'll show the whole world, but both is just your interface, which is your menu, like everything. So that's why I just have it set to both. I have this disabled. This just saves space. You'll build up a lot of cache if you have this enabled. Um, these are all preference, square, enabled, letters. None of this really matters. For all of you that really want to find out like how do you get this on your screen, it's your telemetry, if that's how you pronounce it. I don't know, telemetry. Um, your FPS counter, you enable that, which is this. It just tells you how many frames you're running. Server latency, which is your ping, how like fast you're connected to whatever server you're on. Then my GPU temperature, I like to have that just because I don't want my GPU to explode because it's overheating. Alright guys, so now we're gonna go over my graphics. I have my display mode set to full screen borderless, and I have this set to this specifically other than full screen is because I like to tab out a lot. So like I like to press my start menu, go to a different tab. I go to a different monitor, talk to chat, whatever. This is the best for that. Um, Now, if you're not a streamer, you don't like to exit out your game a lot, set it to full screen, it'll give you better FPS. But that is just the best for me specifically. Um, my display monitor, have that set to your main monitor that you're looking at, like whichever one that's straight ahead of you, or whichever one that you want your game to be on. Um, Display adapter, obviously your graphics card, your refresh rate 240. This is whatever your monitor can handle. So my monitor goes up to 240 hertz, which is the same thing as your refresh rate. If you have a 60 hertz monitor, you're gonna set it to 60, 144, and so on. Just set it to whatever that is. Your render resolution, whatever you just put this to 100, it'll set to whatever your monitor is. Your aspect ratio is gonna be automatic every time, unless you want to mess around with it, make your game look stretched out. Sync every frame, VSync. This you don't want this on. You want that disabled. Custom frame rate. You want to set your menu to 60 and your autofocus because you don't need to be running high frames in the menu. And then in game, I just set this to 240 because this is how many hertz my monitor is, and anything over that doesn't really matter. You want to have your NVIDIA highlights disabled. Low latency. This is for input delay. I just have it enabled. If you're on controller, I've heard enable plus boost is better, but I'm not really sure because I don't play controller. My display gamma, I have this set to sRGB, which is for monitors. If you're on a TV, you're gonna want to set it to BT 1886. Basically all my settings, my details and textures are set either normal or low. So my stream quality is normal. This is normal. Low, low, enabled, disabled, disabled, normal, enabled, enabled, low. You really want this disabled. Like this is a must. Keep your DirectX ray tracing, keep that disabled. Ambient occlusion, I just have this disabled. I really don't know what the difference is to have it on or off. Um, I guess it's just your shadows, whatever. Same with this, I have this disabled. Filmic strength 0. My NVIDIA DLSS, I have that disabled, and my anti-aliasing is Filmic SMAA T2X. My depth of field is disabled, and then this is also something that makes my game look good is World Motion Blur. For those of you that don't run World Motion Blur, you're gonna be like, yo, your game looks like crazy, but it just takes time to get used to it, just like any other setting. Like if you add this, you'll get used to it and it'll look normal. Weapon motion blur, I have that disabled. Film grain, you want to set to 0 to make your game more clear. This is with it up. It'll look super grainy and just not good at all. Dynamic resolution, I have that disabled. A audio settings. So my audio, I have boost low, and in my opinion, boost low is the best for hearing footsteps. It's deep. You'll hear people with Deddy every now and then. You'll hear footsteps most clear with boost low. A lot of people like to run boost high. Some people run home theaters. Some people just run normal boost. Some people, I don't know, like why people run all this other stuff, but boost low is honestly the best in my opinion for hearing footsteps. I have this set to 75. I switch it around whenever I'm listening to music or streaming. Like it doesn't really matter. That's preference. Music volume, I have that set to 0 because I don't like hearing the music all the time. Dialogue, also have that set to 17 because I don't want to hear like the AI screaming at me. Effects volume, I have that set to 100. And then Juggernaut music disabled. Hit marker sound, classic. Mono audio disabled. Voice chat. This is for whenever you wanna, if you're playing with just your friends or in a party and you don't want to hear other people, say you're streaming or you just don't want to hear like the other enemy team like yelling. Just click on mute everyone except party. Every game you'll get into it'll mute that, or you can just press F9 on your keyboard, which will just mute all voice chat, including your teammates. But if you're in Discord, you'll be able to hear them. So that's just a little tip. Um, Obviously default communication device, push to talk. I have it on mouse button 4. These are all preference based on your microphone. This is however loud you want to hear enemies or your friends, like however loud they'll be talking in game chat. You can turn that up if they're low, whatever, it doesn't really matter. This doesn't really matter. But yeah guys, that's basically it for my in-game settings. So now we're gonna go over to my game filters. Okay guys, so we're gonna go over my game filters. And for game filters, you have to have, this is a must, you have to have NVIDIA GeForce Experience. And you download that off of NVIDIA's website, you just type in GeForce Experience. And for your game filters, you're just gonna press Alt Z. And I use this to clip with. You just open up this little overlay, go to your game filters. Normally it'll come out like just this with the one no filters added. What you're gonna do is you're gonna add filter. And you're gonna add, not black and white, but you're gonna add brightness, you're gonna add color, and you're gonna add details. And you're basically just gonna copy my settings. And you can mess around with these all you want, but this is just what I have mine set to. So as you see, my sharpen set to this, clarity, HDR toning, my bloom, and then for color settings, I have my tint color set to this, intensity, temperature, and then my vibrance. And then for my last, I have my brightness and contrast. Exposure is this, contrast, highlights, shadows, and then my gamma. And basically, you're just going to want to save this. You just press done, and it'll save your game filters. But yeah, guys, that's basically it on this video. If you guys would like any more videos like this, I might start uploading more tutorial videos on how to get better FPS or just, you know, different types of styles of videos. I don't like doing the normal pub stopping all the time because that gets kind of old and boring, and I want to be different from the other people. So if you guys would like to see any other types of videos, just leave a comment on what you guys want to see. Just let me know. You guys can DM me on Discord, Twitter, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'll respond to it as fast as I can. I'm super busy, but yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you could leave a like, comment, and subscribe, that would mean the most. And peace out. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.